Good afternoon. My name is Dr. Onaje Muid. I'd like to dedicate this program to soldier Joshua Shackley, born on December the 24th, 1986, and made his transition on August 17th, Marcus Garvey's birthday. And much too young, much too soon, and this is something that we must be concerned with, right? The health of our community, the health of our people. In the context of Chester, we know that the U.S. rate is 5.6 in terms of infant mortality. Philadelphia, 8.1. Chester, 22.8%. And they usually measure in terms of per 100,000. 5.6 for the general average of the United States, up to 22%. Even when we look at pancreatic asthma, U.S. 8%, Chester 38%. And of course, those rates are disproportionate in terms of cancer, heart disease, kidney disease, so forth and so forth. So we know that we have to address the health of the community, and that's what today's program is about.
CMPRadio.net, man. You already know it's your boy Uncle P, and I am live in the Cultivating Mature Positivity Studios with two very good friends of mine, man. Like, we're just sitting here reminiscing, going back, how we met, what's been going on in my life, right? I trust them. I trust them with my back, my front, my side, my ups, my downs, my unders, my overtops. I trust them all around, right? 360 degrees of trust here. Please listen, give a share, drop a comment. There's a very exciting Zoom discussion, September 2nd, 6:30 to 8:30 p.m., the holistic approaches to diabetes self-care, blood sugar regulation without side effects, and stronger meds, man. There's a lot of information in our community that we overlook, albeit because it doesn't dance the way we want it to dance, it doesn't sound the way we want it to sound, or it puts restrictions on the things that we like to do. Just because you like to drink or party doesn't mean it's good for you, right? So we have to think about the things that we can do to strengthen our bodies and our minds so that our children can see us better, active, and have all of our body parts. So right now, I'm going to give the microphone to them. I'm going to let them do what they do, and I'm going to just sit here and listen because I, too, am a student. I, too, am learning, right? Say 3 years ago, I had 2 strokes. And to get the tinctures and the ways of understanding myself holistically without the medicines and because I didn't want to take the blood pressure medicine. You know, they say it mess with you. I didn't want to take the blood pressure medicine. But there are ways to help yourself, right, outside of medicine. So let's listen. Let's put our ears on this podcast and put our heart on it as well. In memory of my brother, Joshua Shockley. I'm gonna get all the brothers for you to take our health serious.
Hello, my name is Pamela Boyce Simms. I am an herbalist and a therapist, a wellness counselor, and I'm here with my friend and colleague, Dr. Onaje Muid. We are looking out over Chester and Delaware County and taking stock of the state of health in the community. And as you heard as in the dedication, we are dying too young. We are subject to too many diseases too young. So we are talking this afternoon about very different types of approaches to the chronic diseases that we see in our community all of the time, specifically diabetes. But what we've done, my colleague and I are part of a team. It's all about complementary integrative medicine. And to give you a sense of who that is, I am a clinical herbalist. We also have a nutritionist. We have a gentleman who does contemplative movement. We have folks that do different types of counseling, different approaches to counseling and stress management, an acupressure person, an acupuncture person. We're bringing on a homeopath and a naturopath. And what these modalities actually mean, as Pierre said, there are ways to look at and deal with illness that don't mean just throwing more meds at stronger dosages at a problem. They don't mean tons of side effects that make you induce you to take more medicine to deal with a side effect from the first med that you took. So our approach, all of these different people, the herbalists, the nutritionists, the acupuncture, acupressure, the counselors, etc., we work as a team to sit and chat with people about specific conditions that they're working with. We have a group approach, and we'll talk about that a bit later, to figure out how we can support the medical community, because it's not about throwing the baby out with the bathwater, or not paying attention to your doctor, or not doing what the doctor is saying. It's not about that, which is why it's complementary. We are supporting you, bringing all of these different services to your attention, determining which service is going to work best for you given your lifestyle, your condition, what's happening with you. And we provide information about what we do. And in a group setting, you have the opportunity to choose, okay, this particular service seems to make more sense for what's going on with me. You begin with that practitioner, and then we kind of tag team each other. We bring each other in for consultations so that we're treating you as a whole person, as opposed to just trying to knock out symptoms, treat surface level things. With all of these people in the room, what we get to do is get to the underlying causes of what's going on with you, from the perspective of what's happening in your life, what you're eating, the amount of stress you're under, the current meds that you're taking. We look at all of this. And next Tuesday at 6:30, we're going to be doing a Zoom presentation that invites as many people in Chester and Delaware County as would like to come on board to talk about diabetes. So, and each one of us has a specific approach that we all bring together to treat your diabetes situation. We're inviting people who are pre-diabetic, who are at risk, who have a diabetes diagnosis, or have people in their families that are suffering, families, community, friends that they know who are suffering from diabetes. So I'll talk a bit later about what I, as a clinical herbalist, bring to the table with regard to when you sit down with me and as part of this team, this group, where I would go with considering diabetes. But at the moment, I'm going to give Dr. Muid the opportunity to talk about what his approach to working with diabetes and people who are pre-diabetic.
Thank you so much. You know, I'm present to the fact that Joshua was born December 24th, 1986. How is that relevant? Things just seem to come together at some point, and you look at it and say, how are they related? For me, it's related to me working at a drug treatment facility in Harlem, New York, Phase Piggyback. And the theme that we ran with is total community involvement. And this is what we need to solve our problems. All of us have a part to play, and we have to be clear about that and work together. We call it UJIMA, collective work and responsibility. So as a wellness coach, a wellness counselor, I particularly look at social relationships. What's relationship with your birth family? What's the relationship with your married family, if you're married, or if you're coupled? And how are you talking to each other? How are you supporting each other? Our social relationships they're the key to everything, because everything gets done through relationships. No, as they say, no man or woman is an island. We are interdependent on each other. Some, independence, but basically interdependent. And when we start to look at those bonds in social work, we have different charts and graphs, and we ask people to do a graphic representation of the people that you're connected with. Is it a strong line? Is it a dotted line? Is the person so far away you can't even talk to them? Like my son, who's out of my life right now and has been so for about 2 years. It weighs on us when our loved ones are not with us. It weighs on us when we don't have healthy relationships with our relations, with our relatives. And this is the work that I do, try to assist people in looking at the social realities in which they are existing and seeing how we can, first of all, just take a breath, learn to breathe. I mean, we breathe, it's automatic, but when we do intentional breathing, we're able to calm the body and the mind and really be in a state of safety. That's the first thing the body wants. It wants safety, which means we want to get away from the amygdala part of our brain, the lower state of our brain, that's actually forcing us to take flight, to fight, to freeze. How do we calm ourselves down? So wellness is connected to this ability to look around the neighborhood and be safe. We talk about the social determinants of health. It's not just your relationship with your doctor. It's not even those things which is usually seen to be the only thing that's relevant. All research has found, I think it's maybe been at least 10 years or more, that we're talking about the social determinants of health, right? Where do you live? Is there an incinerator where you live? In Chester, we have, 3 of them? So we're looking at air quality. We're looking at the schools that you go to. We're looking at the jobs that's in your community. What is the rate of unemployment in your community? What is the level of stress in your community? All these factors make a difference in terms of the wellness of the person and of the family. So it's important to put that in perspective and say, what can we do about it? Well, what we can do about it is study, be around people who care for you. It's been said that our self-esteem comes from 4 directions. The first is people who love you, respect you, honor you. The second is people who the second category is when you say who you are and what's important to you. And we ask 3 questions. Who are you? Are you who you say you are? And are you your best self? If we're using those questions to guide our life, we always are going to be moving forward. And the third area is the area of setting goals for ourselves. Is just going to school, getting a job, is that the end of life? That's the end all and be all? Or is it, in fact, taking on an occupation where you're contributing to yourself, your family, and your community? And the last area is recognition. In the first area and the last area, we have no control over. We have no control over who likes you, respects you, who loves you. You have no control over who actually recognizes you for what you're doing or what you're about. The only 2 places we have power is the power to say who we are as a human being. And it's important for us to kind of give that some thought, because we live in a society where Black existence has been marginalized. It's been oppressed since the very beginning, and it's still happening right now. It isn't like it's stopped. So we have intergenerational trauma that has been occurring and is still occurring. And when you don't recognize that, it just complicates your life. So sometimes we are mad at someone and it's not even really the person in front of us. There's other situations that's really causing the stress. So as a wellness counselor, these are the kinds of things that I talk about. And certainly when you talk about diabetes or any other chronic illness, these factors are heightened because one doesn't have the capacity without some assistance to put things in perspective. And I'll just kind of stop right at that point.
Thanks, Onaje. Considering diabetes, the folks that we're inviting to be in the space with us, and there will be 4 of us, 4 different types of practitioners that will be at your service, are people that have heard a lot about diabetes already. Because it is so rampant in our community, people know what a decent A1C level is. They know what their blood sugar level should be. They have a sense of the symptoms of diabetes. We know that thirst and abdominal obesity and kidney issues, circulation issues are all part of the diabetic journey. So my sense is that folks that are there really don't need to be bombarded with a lot of what diabetes is. We will touch on that, but we're really looking at why it is so intensely focused and the rates are off the chart in our community. The rates of amputation in the Black community far outstrip the national and even statewide in Pennsylvania rates. Complications with diabetic retinopathy or all kinds of problems because there's not enough oxygen getting to the eye, the ocular system. The complications for us are simply worse than the general population. And as I mentioned at the outset, the medical community does its best to relieve symptoms, but a lot of folks don't want to be on meds, taking their metformin or a whole list of medications forever for their whole lifetime, aside from the fact that there are side effects that go along with this. So our team is about honoring what your physician is doing, but offering you alternatives that are less chemical, less pharmaceutical, that do not have side effects, and as Onaje said, are supported by the people around you, the relationships that you have. For example, as an herbalist, when someone comes and sits down with me, the first thing all of us want to do is make you feel less discomfort. If you're walking in pain, if there are symptoms that are acute, that are messing with your life, that's where we're going to go first. And for example, that's where someone like the acupressure person would be able to help you deal with pain. We also have massage therapists on board that right in the moment can alleviate the pain you're feeling so that you can even be thinking about the longer term strategies that need to be dealt with in order to get to the underlying causes. But as I'm treating your symptoms or as I'm working with the acupuncture person or the acupressure person or William Lowry, who's a person who will be working with us on Tuesday evening, he does contemplative movement, but it's not just movement for movement's sake. It relieves stress in the body. It allows energy to flow more fluidly through the body. So it's assisting what I'm doing, alleviating with herbs and supplements and plant medicine, what the acupuncture person is doing, what the acupressure person is doing, William is doing through movement. So that is the first thing, to make you feel more comfortable in your skin, to alleviate the initial symptoms. Then I'm going to ask you all kinds of interesting things about what's going on with you so I can get a sense of putting in place a self-care plan that you and your family and your friends, your friend group can then help you sustain. So it's not trying something and then just letting it go because you don't have a support system. So we're going to put in place a plan that is going to be holistic from the people perspective as well as the medicinal herbs that I'm going to give you. So first, we take care of your symptoms. Then we have a very deep conversation about what's going on with you, what your healthcare goals are. What does optimal health look like for you? What does good health look like? When was the last time you remember feeling absolutely off the charts, fantastic? What was that like? What were you doing at that point in time in your life? And from there, we'll go to the actual herbal regimen. And of course, our nutritionist, who also will be present on Tuesday evening, is going to be working alongside me when we're dealing with the medicinal herbs. The first bunch of herbs I'm going to suggest, we do not prescribe, we are not physicians, we suggest knowing what's happening with you physiologically, what's going on in the different systems in your body, are herbs that are going to detox and cleanse. Specifically the liver, the kidneys, the digestive system, but herbs that are cleansing at also a very deep level, the blood system, your lymphatic system, to wash whatever toxins are in your system out of your body. And as you know, as Onaje alluded to, in Chester, we're taking in a tremendous amount of toxins from refineries and trash to steam, and we can go down the list. So we're going to eliminate medicinal herbs that are going to eliminate those toxins. And the nutritionist would pop in there to also talk about the types of toxins that are being taken in preservatives and dyes and sugar and all of those types of things. So I'm dealing with environmental toxins, heavy metals in the system. It could be anything from lead paint in the walls, in schools and homes and old pipes, that type of thing. That's how comprehensive a look we're taking at is at what's happening in the systems in your body. And on that note, again, point 1, symptoms. Alleviate your pain, your stress, and your discomfort. Point 2, big picture on what's going on with you. Point 3, this is the herbalist approach. Detox, cleanse heavy metals externally and internally. But one thing we all emphasize, and that is we are working with the body's natural capacity to heal itself. We do so many things in the course of our lives, and our relationships are what society bombards us with, whether it's institutional racism, whether it is family stress, that kind of thing, what we're eating, what we're ingesting. We need to take into consideration that our body has been desensitized, which is what actually diabetes is about. At the cellular level, we have been desensitized to being able to metabolize and deal with sugar and insulin in the way the body should metabolize it. So we have been desensitized, moved away from the understanding that every system in the body works together. If we're just dealing with a bunch of symptoms that are a very superficial level of attack on a situation, we're not taking into consideration that your digestive system is working with your nervous system, is working with your circulatory system, is working with your respiratory system. So every practitioner in the room, Onaje, when he's looking at you from a social perspective, the nutritionist when she's looking at what you're taking in your diet, myself when I'm looking at plant medicine that could assist you, the people that do acupuncture, acupressure, movement, etc., are all looking at all of the systems in your body and how they work together, and then we assist your body to do what it naturally does in healing. So I just want to put that out there before I go to the next point in the herbalist regimen about the way we all work. It's not about tunnel vision on a few symptoms, but a holistic, whole person understanding of how all these systems work together. So we're on detox and cleanse. Once I've flushed out the system, flushed out your kidneys, flushed out your liver, worked with your blood system and lymphatic system, then I'm going to figure out where the deficiencies are. The nutritionist will come in and again talk about your diet, but where the vitamin deficiencies, mineral deficiencies, and we'll talk about supplementation in addition to the medicinal herbs. So I'm going to revitalize, regenerate, rejuvenate, so you're getting your energy back and the energy is flowing through your system, aided and abetted by all of these other practitioners that I'm working with. And then I'm going to actually look at repatterning the brain. And that is a very specific process. That's not about talking. It's not about trying to just change habits. It's about working with a very deep part of the brain where the old soundtracks that run over and over and over in our lives live. And I'm going to let Onaje talk about those soundtracks that intergenerationally, he mentioned intergenerational patterning earlier. Where do those soundtracks come from? Onaje works with one set of parameters that look at intergenerational patterning. I'm going to get down the pike a little bit later. I'm going to get into the part of the brain that I work with clients with that bypasses the part of the brain that looks at words and talking, a deeper part of the brain where we can literally rewire the circuitry in the gray matter in your skull. So for the time being, I'm going to turn it back over to Onaje.
Thank you. Pamela mentioned she wants to detoxify, wants to purify the system, getting rid of the toxins that is impeding one's healthy functioning. Psychologically, that is also something that needs to be attended to. There's something called ACE or ACEs, Adverse Childhood Experiences. And this was done, experiment was done in California, Kaiser Permanente. About 17,000 people actually was a part of this study. And it started off as an obesity study where they were successful. They came up with these regimes and people were losing the weight and everything was fine. And then at some point they saw this reversal, that those people who had lost, who was willing, came in, had medical insurance, and it's basically middle-class white folks. They had the money, they had the resources. And then what happened is that they started gaining the weight back. And the doctors had to look at that and say, wait a minute, what's going on? And from that experiment, that protocol, they discovered that the higher number of adverse childhood experiences you have, the greater the possibility that you're going to experience negative health outcomes. So what are we're talking about? Physical abuse, emotional abuse, sexual abuse, witnessing violence, parental separation, living with someone who has mental illness, bullying. Now, Philadelphia looked at those, about 10 of them, those indices, and said, wait a minute, you're missing some other things that our community experienced that's not there. You didn't mention homelessness. You didn't mention parents being incarcerated. So those extra things became a part of the Philadelphia ACEs. And this is important because when we start to look at these things that have happened to us, we can get some idea of why we're behaving the way that we do. And it's important to look at that because even if the person is successful with the detox and the vitality that Pamela spoke to, if you go back and you doing the same habits that caused the problem in the first place, guess what? You're going to wind up in the same condition again. So part of the work as a wellness counselor is to assist that person and the family, not just that person, but the family. Because if somebody else is cooking fried foods and they're giving a poor diet, well, guess what? That's going to adversely affect their ability to recover. So it's how do we sustain the wellness that's first achieved through the first line of treatment, How do we sustain that? We can only sustain that by the family working together as a team in support of that person, and then raising up the quality of life in terms of eating habits. We talked about nutrition, in terms of exercise, in terms of sleeping, making sure that you get the amount of rest that you need for the body when it needs to rest, because that's when the body repairs itself. In fact, an experiment was done where they kept waking people up, denying them the different brain states that's necessary for health, and people were starting to develop psychosis by denying them the sleep in the REM state. So all these things are important, but it only can be achieved when all the family members are on board. So we're really talking about a team effort to make things work. That person and also the next generation. So yes, it's about reversing these conditions in addition to preventing them. We have to now look at what we know, and we know many things now that we didn't know before. We know about epigenetics, right? We know how trauma is being passed down in the body system one to another. We didn't know these things before. We knew the consequences, but we didn't know the mechanisms. Now we know the mechanisms, which means what? Now we can use this formula to improve our health generation after generation. We should not be going down in the statistics. I mean, we should not be going up in terms of the prevalence. We should be going down. That's going to be our marker. A marker of success is not just one family, but as a community, we're seeing this change. So these changes will require to look at the individual, but also to look at what is called adverse community experiences. And again, this goes back to the social determinants of health and being aware of the community. How do we make the community healthy? It's not enough to make the individual healthy. It's not enough to make the family healthy. How do we make the environment healthy so that all the families can experience a higher quality of life?
So we have a whole menu of possibility that we invite you to tune in. I know Pierre is going to post the Zoom link. You just click on that link, tune in on Tuesday, September 2nd at 6:30. Just to go down the slate, we are assisting whomever your physician is, as team, whoever you are. We are your team. You come in, we alleviate your symptoms without pain meds. You come in, we figure out with you, listening to your story, what's going on, the full comprehensive understanding of what brought you in the door and how you ended up in this situation. Now that you've decided to be proactive about it, we're going to take your health goals forward, take them down the court, begin an herbal detox. We're going to begin a contemplative, very intentional movement program. You can learn yourself how to do acupressure for yourself. You can avail yourself of our acupuncturist. All of this, again, is pain relief of symptoms as you're doing the detox and cleanse with medicinal herbs. Our nutritionist is there to support you. And as Onaje is saying, the counselors are there to make certain that you have your support system and your team and the community, because as we know, given what we are dealing with on a day-to-day basis, the stressors that we're dealing with, so much of our eating habits that the nutritionist is going to be working with you on, and the medicinal herbs are going to be cleansing you of the American diet, is induced by stress eating. So all of these things work together. So we've got the symptoms, the detox, and then rejuvenation and regeneration, all being supported by a community of folks that is looking out for every aspect of all of your systems working together in concert. And the icing on the cake, the cherry on the sundae, is we also, as part of what I do as an herbalist, you are given a set of tools to work with your own brain, your neurobiology. And you're getting all this other support and all of this physical, psychological, and emotional support. These tools bypass the part of the brain that are telling you, do I want to eat that? Don't I want to eat that? Do I want to eat that? Don't I want to eat that? Do I want to get off the couch or not? We're going to bypass that part of the brain with these tools altogether. We're going to go, that is the front part of your brain. That is linear, sequential, logical thinking. We're going to go to a part of your brain that is much deeper and give you tools to work with the dynamics and using little skits and vignettes, we call them simulations, the dynamics of how your brain works so that we can get at those really, really old tapes that are deep, not even at the level of words and logical thinking. This is deep patterns that are encoded in your brain, and we're literally going to rewire it. Actually, you are. It's a self-guided thing. We give you the tools, and along with all of these other modalities, it's a way to make it stick. It's not just about retraining habits. All the support is absolutely essential, but it really is sustainable when you have systematically, consistently, and frequently worked with the part of your brain that can rewire those old patterns that are getting in your way. So I enthusiastically invite you to join us to try some new ways of dealing with diabetes care, new ways and new approaches to your health. Please join us next Tuesday for our Zoom conversation, Tuesday, September 2nd at 6:30 p.m. Onaje, it's been wonderful. Thank you. Pierre, thanks.
No problem. Anytime, man. CMPradio.net, man. You already know this is the station, man. Listen, I want y'all to tune in. I want y'all to get this Zoom, right? I want y'all to be here for this, right? And if you're not there for that, that doesn't mean you can't reach out and talk to the people that are on the Zoom, right? How do they get your information, Pamela?
You will have all of our information in addition to other practitioners that are not going to be on there that evening. Our email addresses, it's going to be very easy to contact us and follow up.
So get on the Zoom so you can get the information, right? Listen, this is important. Our health is important. Our mental well-being is important as well. When you hear information that goes against what you're used to or doesn't give you the energy that you want it to give, sometimes you understand that you have to change the way you look at that information or the way you receive it. Something has to change. We have to change. We can't continue to want people to do better if we continue to remain the same. So, Chester, stand up. Tuesday, September 2nd, right? That's the anniversary of the station. 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. Go to this Zoom. Get the information that you need. Get your checkups. Just do what we're supposed to do so we can continue to move forward. The CMPradio.net. This has been the Cultivating Mature Positivity Podcast. I want y'all to have a great day on purpose, man. Peace.